Once upon a time, in a village nestled at the foot of a mountain, there lived a woodcutter with his wife and 3 children, Deniz, Ife, and Zeynep. Deniz was the eldest at 12, then came Ife at 9, followed by little Zeynep at 7. The children loved playing in the forest behind their house. It was their favorite pastime. One afternoon, the siblings decided to venture deep into the woods for an adventure. As they ran and played, they didn't notice how quickly the sun began to set. Soon the sky was painted with hues of orange and purple, signaling it was time to go home. But the children, caught up in their games, didn't heed the warning. They continued playing until the light faded away and darkness enveloped the forest. Suddenly, a strong wind rustled through the trees, making them shiver. As they looked around, they realized they were all alone. They started to panic. "I want to go home," cried little Zeynep, her lower lip trembling. "Don't worry, Zeynep," said Deniz, trying to sound brave. "We just need to find our way out of here. We'll be home before you know it." He took a deep breath, trying to calm himself and his siblings. But fear gnawed at him too. He was scared, but he couldn't let his younger siblings see it. Ife, the middle child, looked around. "Do you guys hear that?" he asked. They all listened intently. In the distance, they heard the sound of flowing water. "Let's go that way," said Deniz, pointing towards the sound. "Maybe we'll find a road." They started walking, and the sound of the water grew louder with each step. After what felt like hours, the sound led them to a clearing. In the center was a large stone door adorned with strange symbols. Above the door, a weathered sign read, "Beware, only those who are worthy may pass." Fear tightened its grip on the children's hearts. Should they go inside? Was this place safe? They looked at each other, their eyes questioning. Finally, Deniz stepped forward. "I think we have no choice," he said. "We must go inside." Taking a deep breath, he tried to decipher the signs above the door. The first one showed a plant with 5 leaves. "Deniz has 5 fingers on his left hand," whispered Ife. "Maybe that's the clue." Deniz placed his hand on the sign, and with a click, the rock wall moved, revealing a passage. The siblings exchanged nervous glances and slowly entered. Inside, the walls were adorned with glowing plants that cast an eerie light on the path ahead. A stream flowed beside the plants, its surface reflecting the soft glow. The children, mesmerized, followed the stream deeper into the glowing maze. Suddenly, the stream stopped, and before them stood a broken wooden bridge spanning a small chasm. "How are we supposed to cross?" asked Zeynep, her voice echoing in the cavernous space. They searched for a way around, but the bridge seemed to be their only option. Ife stepped onto the bridge cautiously. It creaked ominously. "I don't think it can hold us," he said, his voice shaky. Then Deniz had an idea. "Why don't we help each other?" he suggested. "We can cross together." They agreed. Deniz and Zeynep joined hands, and Ife, taking a deep breath, stepped onto the bridge. With careful steps, they moved towards the other side. But just as they reached the midpoint, the bridge gave way, plunging them into the darkness below. They landed in a heap, shaken but unharmed. They quickly scrambled to their feet. "What now?" whispered Zeynep, her eyes wide with fear. The bridge was broken, and the darkness was thick. They couldn't go back the way they came. The faint glow from the plants barely penetrated the gloom. As they stumbled through the darkness, they heard a rustle in the undergrowth. Suddenly, a pair of glowing eyes appeared before them, then 2 more, and before long they were surrounded by a pack of snarling, growling foxes. The animals blocked their path, their eyes gleaming menacingly in the dim light. Fear tightened its grip on the children's hearts. What were they going to do? Just when the foxes were about to pounce, Deniz had an idea. Quickly, he rummaged family's bag, remembering his father's words, "Never go to the forest without food. You never know when you might need it." He found some bread and cheese, the very food his father had packed for him earlier that day. He stepped forward and held out the food. The foxes hesitated, their growls subsiding into wary murmurs. Slowly, they crept forward, their eyes fixed on the offering. One by one, they took the food, and disappeared into the bushes. When the coast was clear, the siblings hurried away from the clearing, but their ordeal was far from over. The plants no longer glowed, and the path ahead was shrouded in darkness. The once friendly stream now seemed menacing, its sound echoing ominously around them. Exhausted and scared, they collapsed onto a nearby log, unsure of what to do next. "I want my mommy!" cried little Zeynep, tears streaming down her face. Eve wrapped an arm around his sister, trying to comfort her. "We'll be okay," he said, though his voice lacked conviction. Dennis knew he had to do something to lift their spirits. "Hey guys," he said, trying to sound cheerful. "Do you remember the story of the brave knight who defeated the dragon and won the princess's hand?" Eve and Zeynep nodded, their eyes wide. "Well," Dennis continued, his voice dropping to a dramatic whisper, "I believe we are the brave knights, and the dragon is that scary beast blocking our way." His siblings giggled at that. Then Zeynep, her eyes shining with excitement, said, "And we have to slay the dragon to get home." "That's right," said Denise, winking at Ife. Together they devised a plan to conquer their fears and get home. They would face whatever came next as a team, supporting and helping each other every step of the way. Fueled by their newfound determination, they continued their journey. After what seemed like an eternity, the sound of running water grew louder. As they followed the noise, a faint light appeared in the distance. Hope surged within them. Could this be the end of their terrifying adventure? As they drew closer, the light grew brighter, revealing a familiar sight, the stone door with its glowing plants. But that wasn't what caught their attention. Standing before the door were their parents, their faces etched with worry. In their hands were lanterns that illuminated their worried expressions. "Children!" their mother cried, rushing towards them. "Where did you go? We were so worried." Their father, his voice stern, asked, "Why did you stay out so late? Don't you know how dangerous it is?" The children, their lower lips trembling, apologized. Then Denise, his head held high, said, "We're sorry, Baba. We got carried away playing, but we're home now." Their father looked at his children, his stern expression softening. He saw the dirt on their clothes, the scratches on their arms, and the exhaustion in their eyes. He knew they had been through a lot. He knelt down to their level and said, "Today you weren't lost, my brave children. You learned to be together. That's the most important lesson of all." He pulled them into a tight hug. Their mother, tears brimming in her eyes, joined the hug. From that day on, the three siblings never went anywhere without each other. They understood that no matter how scary the world could be, they had each other, and that was the greatest strength of all. The memory of their adventure in the forest became a bond that united them even more, reminding them that as long as they had each other, they could overcome anything.